I have owned the Sony WH1000XM6, however the hell you say that, XM6s, since June, so about 5 months or so, 4 or 5 months. I have used them pretty much almost every single day, and I use it for office work. I use it whenever I need to edit. I used it whenever I went to Vegas, so I used it on the plane, in the airport, all of that. And honestly, there's just something about the Bose that I just genuinely love, because I still wanted to keep my Bose headphones because these headphones right here, they have done really well for me, and I genuinely enjoy these headphones for how lightweight they are, the sound quality, all that jazz. And I can say I'm still very happy with these headphones, but there's just still something about the Bose headphones that I love. So I'm gonna go over just my 4-month review with the XM6s, how they've been for me personally, and this is just coming from a perspective of using it in office and kind of just throughout my day. I don't use it at the gym at all. I don't like to use my headphones at the gym. I like to use earbuds because, you know, I got big ears. I get all sweaty, hot, all that stuff. And headphones I just don't really dig when I'm at the gym. I use earbuds. The sound quality, I genuinely love this sound quality. I think they did really freaking good when it comes to keeping the same mids and highs of these headphones, but giving you more thumpy bass. I felt like that's what they missed out on the XM5s, was just that punchy bass. Me, I like bass, and that's just personal preference for me. I listen to a lot of hip hop, rap, R&B, and I mean, obviously I listen to like other stuff like country alternative, stuff like that, but mainly hip hop and R&B I like to listen to, and I like to hear that punchy bass whenever I'm listening to my music, and I feel like they just nailed it with these headphones in particular. And I can generally say when it comes to the sound quality, I am not disappointed one freaking bit with these headphones, because it's like, I mean, I think this is just all around good sound quality that Sony has made with these headphones. I really don't know what else to say. I mean, the EQ is really good. You can be able to fine tune it to whatever you want, because Sony does really good with customization in the actual app. And just to me, I think this is like, if I had to think of an ideal sound quality type of thing, whatever the hell that I'd want in my headphones, I think of these headphones right here. And honestly, one thing about headphones for me in particular is about the build quality and how comfortable it is. Because mind you, I am taking these with me and I'm wearing it multiple hours throughout my day, sometimes with a hat on, sometimes with the hat off. If I'm in the airport and I'm flying somewhere, I'm more than likely to have a hat on, so I'm always gonna wear that. And there's just one thing about the Sonys that I just didn't like personally when it comes to just pretty much traveling with my headphones, that the Bose was able to just do really well with. So like whenever you take a look at the Bose and the Sonys side by side, you can immediately tell the amount of cushion that is on the Bose compared to the Sonys. Mainly being the headband right here. The headband, whenever you press on the Sonys, they're a little bit tough. It's just kind of hard. It's like they just didn't put enough cushion on there. Maybe I'm tripping or something, but the cushion right here, there's barely no cushion on here. You could just feel straight band, and it's not like no soft band. Like, it's a band. Like it's sturdy. But whenever you come over to the Bose, on the other hand, you can immediately tell just by how it wrinkles up that there is some good cushioning on here. And that's one thing that I just enjoy the most about Bose, just the build quality and how they constructed the QuietComfort Ultras. They really put the word comfort in there, you feel me? Here's the thing about the two, that if I had to pick between the two, I know I preached and I've said that the XM6s are the move, which they still are the move if these are comfortable to you. But for me and my particular head shape and everything like that, and how I just like my headphones, I don't like them to be super bulky, heavy at all. Obviously, one thing that I would have to just say is, if you even went with the Bose, I still say regardless, headphones are all subjective. The reason why I say that is because everybody has their own preference in sound quality and what they personally like. Some may think that the XM5s sound perfectly fine and there's no different upgrade with the XM6s, but for me, I like punchy bass, and I feel like they didn't put enough into the XM5, and they did much better on here. But same goes with the Bose. I feel like with the Bose, I think the vocals sound beautiful. Whenever you hear, like, listen to country or alternative music, it sounds amazing. But one thing I can say, that the bass, unless you fine tune it, it's not that great right out the box. But it's still a pleasant sound. If I go with the Bose, I would have to just miss out on the Sony sound quality, but that's perfectly fine for me. If there's one thing that I prioritize over anything, is that the headphones just feel comfortable on my head at all times. I am willing to, and I'm not even shooting anything at Bose, because we all know Bose has damn good sound quality. I'm sure a lot of us know that, and if you don't know that, then they got some good sound quality, you know what I mean? But I'm just going to be missing out on the Sony sound quality all in all. Now, I'm outside of my return window, so I'm not going to just return these because I still use these to this day. I use these for office work still, but whenever I travel, I take my Bose because these are just nice, lightweight headphones that are just not a hindrance whenever I put it on my head and I'm over here traveling. Freaking amazing active noise cancellation. Same with the Sonys. Just I think the only difference between the Sonys and the Bose is that the Sony gives you way more customization in the app. Bose doesn't really do that. The sound quality I think is just all around balanced with the XM6s as opposed to the Bose. And these are the Gen 1s. I still have to try out the second gens. These are just the Gen 1s that I'm talking about. I'm sure they probably fine-tuned everything with the second gens that I will get to. But there's just something about the freaking quality of these. A lot of people don't like it, and some people may say it's flimsy for a very expensive pair of headphones. But I think the build quality of having it lightweight and just very minimal stuff going on is just perfect in my opinion. Now, if we move over to the Sony XM6s, one thing that scares me day in and day out, maybe it's just because I've been paying too much attention to the posts about it, are the hinges. Now, a lot of people had bad problems with the XM5s and those hinges. As opposed to the XM6s, I've still been seeing hinge problems. I just don't understand why they don't go back to the XM4 model. The XM4 model almost gave you the same type of structure as the Bose, but like I just felt like it was more sleek and less bulky looking, because whenever I put these on my head like so, they look a little more bulky as opposed if I put these mugs on my head like this. I just feel like the Bose is just way more sleek and less bulky when we're talking about actual just design of the actual headphone. Now, one thing I can say that I do enjoy that some people may not like is just the touch gestures. I enjoy the touch gestures. Bose kind of has that for the volume, but when it comes to like changing the song or something like that, I'm not a big fan of clicking a button. I like being able to double tap it on my ear, and this is very, I wouldn't say super sensitive, but it's sensitive enough to where you don't have to really thump on your ear and mess up your eardrum. So all in all, I do enjoy the functionality aspect of how you're able to use the XM6s, in my opinion. I still wouldn't even mind it if if I have to prioritize comfort. There's just something about comfort with headphones that is just nice for me. Because the AirPod Maxes, I truly enjoyed the AirPod Maxes. They sound great. Build quality was amazing, but that build quality obviously was a trade-off, because you had to trade off comfortability, in my opinion. I just feel like they were way too heavy, and having them on for long periods of time, it just wasn't comfortable at all. Like I can only have them on my head for max like maybe 2-3 hours or so, but I was using it way more than 2-3 hours. I think really to note with just both of these headphones, in my opinion, is that it's all personal preference at the end of the day, and for some reason I keep going back over to the Bose. For example, when I went into the office the other day, I took the Bose with me, and I just remembered how comfortable this pair of headphones were. And I even wore these to the gym when I first got them to really see how I like them, and they're just super freaking lightweight. I just can't get over the actual build quality of these headphones. A lot of people, I hear just mixed opinions on the actual build quality. They say that it's super cheap, plasticky, but honestly, I dig it. I just like how lightweight it is. I want something that's lightweight that gives me a premium sound. I don't want nothing like freaking made out of freaking metal or anything like that, like the AirPod Maxes, and I have to put them on my head for long periods of time, and just because I want to look cool. Like, nah, dog, that mug hurts my head. Like, if you know what it feels like having a hat on, then a little top on top of the hat, that pressing down your head 24/7, especially with no cushioning, dog, it hurts. And that's kind of what I feel like whenever I have these headphones on. I can't downplay Sony at all for these pair of headphones. If you want the XM6s, I highly recommend you get the XM6s, especially if you don't care about just the minimal cushion and the bulkiness of it or anything like that. If you enjoy this concept and you like this design, I say 1000% go for it. I mean, you're gonna get good sound quality, you're gonna get the good customization that Sony offers, you're gonna get this super dope freaking case that I think is just dope. I mean, like, why don't a lot of companies just do this, like, dog, that's freaking dope. I jack with it heavy on that aspect of things. But a few things to note is that if you're going to be using these mugs day in, day out, please be aware of the hinge problem. Please make sure that you have to take care of these to a point where if you're using these day in, day out, hard use and everything like that, you have to be aware of the hinges, because a lot of people have been having those hinge issues. I don't care if it's something that I just have been commonly seeing and it doesn't actually happen, but it's still something to note whenever I see multiple posts like on Reddit or other social media platforms saying that the hinges are breaking. So please be aware of that if you go down that route. Now, on the Bose, the other hand, a few things to note if you go with the Bose. The Bose, in my personal opinion, if they said, hey yo, Augie, which ones you taking off rip? I'm taking the Bose, because there's just gonna be a very versatile set of headphones that sound really damn good. The Bose app is just user friendly. It's not as intricate as the Sony app. The Sony app gives you the customization. The Bose app gives you minimal customization, which is kind of iffy and it sucks. Now, obviously, you're not going to get the touch gestures with it. You're not going to get none of that extra jazz that you get with Sony. But one thing that Bose is known for is their active noise cancellation. And although this is better with the XM6s, mind you, this is a 2025 release. This is a 2022, I believe, or something like that. I'll put it on the screen somewhere. The active noise cancellation, I'm sure on the second gen, is probably going to be on par with the XM6s. I don't know how better you can get with active noise cancellation, because these sound godly. But still, regardless, even if you go with the first gen, these mugs are still going to have really good active noise cancellation that you will not regret at all. So I just wanted to go over these two pairs of headphones. These are just the main two headphones that I have. I gave my AirPod Maxes to my girlfriend, and these are the two that I rock day in, day out. Well, not really day in, day out. I kind of like flop between the two. But I wanted to make the video just pretty much letting you guys know my stance between the two. I have been using these freaking for about 5 months now, using them in almost any environment that I can possibly think of for my personal life. But I've also done the same with the Bose, and I can just say equally with that, because I didn't want to make a video of just like a month review or 2 month review compared to these. I wanted to make kind of like a decent long-term review, which I think 4 or 5 months is pretty long if I'm using these pretty much daily. That I just much rather prefer the Bose if I had the chance. So if somebody had said, hey yo, like, which one would you choose? I'd choose the Bose personally. Now, obviously, like I said, the sound quality, I think you still get really good sound quality with the Bose. I personally enjoy the XM6 sound quality, but I'm sure with the second gens that I'll end up grabbing here soon, I'm sure that they did really good with the sound quality and made it better, that I'll have to check out, and maybe I'll just get rid of these first gens and stick with the second gens if it's an actual sufficient upgrade. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys are rocking currently. Are you rocking XM6s? Are you rocking the Bose? Are you rocking Sennheiser? Are you rocking Bowers & Wilkins? Are you rocking AirPod Maxes? What are you rocking? All right, just let me know what you're rocking. Hopefully this gives you some sort of insight if these two pairs of headphones were on your list. These were your finalists. You needed some more just clarification on just other people's opinions, such as myself, on how the freaking headphones are and things like that. Because I try to be non-biased as possible. There are many great things that I love about the XM6s, but there are great things that I love about the Bose. And just me, I prioritize comfort, and the Bose just ticks all the boxes for me when it comes to comfortability. And per usual, thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day for watching me on your screen. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers. We're at like 950 something, 960, I don't know. But smash the subscribe button, like, let me know how you think about this video, and we are out. Thank you guys so much for all the love. Deuces. XM6s, Bose QuietComfort Ultra. Which one you choosing? Which one you choosing?